I was in prayer today and the Lord said the following. He said, I came to destroy the works of the devil, not for you to build a strategy to counter his attacks. Build my kingdom, strengthen my church. And I was thinking, why would he say that? And I think it's because many of us have been in battle mode. And I'm not saying or discounting anything about spiritual warfare. We should always stay on alert. But I think we've been on such high alert these days that sometimes we forget it's about the harvest, right? It's time, I believe, for many of us, and it's been prophesied over myself and my wife, that it's time to beat our swords into plowshares. And that for here pretty soon, the plowman is going to overtake the reaper, right? So we need to get into harvest mode and less in battle mode. Very, very important. And I believe that's a word for a lot of us today. You know, I'm all for apologetics. You know, I love apologetics, YouTube sites, and even people I don't disagree with that might not have the same kind of theology that I have. We agree on certain things, you know, but I think what's happened is a very sharp division in the body of Christ with a lot of extreme reform theology. My dad, as a theologian, would have called it just drawing the circle smaller. Who's in and who's out? How wide is your circle? Now, I'm not saying that the circle, and he wasn't either, saying that the circle should be so wide that it would include other religions, you know, like LDS or Jehovah's Witness or other aspects of other religions, you know. But it was with my dad. He always said, as a doctorate degree theologian, he was Southern Baptist. He said, "How small are you going to draw the circle, or how wide are you going to draw the circle?" And I think there's discernment involved with that as well. So I want to encourage you today, and please like, share, comment, subscribe. God's doing a lot of amazing, powerful things in the earth as far as the gospel going forth. We need to stay on our gospel game. We need to keep pressing. You know, you can get some pretty funky comments on your social media posts, and you can get some funny looks in the street these days, and people backing off from you that you've known, and they just seem like somebody else, and they put out, you know, some kind of cold fish hand to, you know, or a side hug when it was a little something different, you know. And what I'm saying is that, you know, people are choosing how close they want to be to the Lord in these days. And as you draw closer, the worldliness in other people will be repelled. And that's okay. You know, people are going to unfriend you. Listen, you need to unfriend and block some people as well. You don't want to argue with their demons. There are people in bondage, and they're never going to understand you. And you're not their pastor. You're not there to be there for them and let them unload their garbage on you. These ears right here, they're not toilets. You know, these eyes right here, they're not garbage cans. And you don't need to entertain the junk that even some people that call themselves believers are bringing your way. As a matter of fact, it says, I believe it was 1 Corinthians around chapter 5, verse 11, I want to say, it says there are some people you cannot even associate with or even sit down to dinner with because they're so deeply into bondage, and they're just going to throw you off. These are people who do not want to change. And you've been around people long enough, and family members included, that you just see that they are not going to change. And it has nothing to do with the message that you're putting out there. It just has to do with the divide that's between you and them. But be encouraged also, because Jesus says, I've overcome the world. And if he's overcome the world, he's overcome the worldliness in those that you love. Hey, he's overcome the worldliness in me. I have enough to deal with in my own life to make sure that I'm walking in the Spirit so that I will not fulfill the lust of the flesh. There's a lot of fruit for you to bear in this season. And I want to make sure, and God wants to make sure, that you live an abundant life, a healthy life, a prosperous life, so you can take in the huge harvest that's coming. Don't be taken off your game by all the heresy hunters coming your way, by all the people that want to divide with you, by all the people who don't want to associate with you anymore. That's normal for this season right now. Why? Because God's preparing you for the harvest, and it won't be long before that harvest is here. I love you guys, and keep watching.